What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video on the Caloric Chaos channel. Today we're going to be talking about the importance of protein, how much protein you really need, and a huge protein myth that a lot of bodybuilders are listening to. Let's get into it. So obviously understanding protein and the importance of it is very important because it's one of the most essential macronutrients in your diet. Not just for gym goers, but just for all of you in general. Here's some of the reasons. Protein's going to help you stay more full, more satiated, and 30% of the calories that you eat from protein are actually broken down just digesting the protein, which is freaking awesome. Who doesn't want a faster metabolism? Now you might be thinking, oh, protein's so great, so awesome, it can do all these things, but how much protein do I really need? And the number that's cited a lot in, science and just in gym goers in general, when you ask how much protein do I need to be eating, they'll say 1 gram per pound of body weight. So if you're 150 pounds, 150 grams of protein. Do you actually need that much? Well, recently it's been known that you actually need maybe a little bit less. You can get away with a little bit less. So the RDA, aka the daily recommendation for normal people of protein is half of a gram per pound of body weight. So 150 pounds, 75 grams of protein. But obviously you have different goals. You want to be satiated, you want a faster metabolism, you want to build more muscle. So what should you actually be eating? Well, 0.7 to 0.9 seems to be the most optimal. Which is pretty close to 1 gram per pound, but 0.7 to 0.9 would be like maybe 100 to 120, 140 grams of protein for a 150 pound person. So it's a little bit less than the 1 gram per pound of body weight. Now, what would you want to eat a little bit less? Well, let's say you're on a cut, you're trying to cut your calories, you've already cut your fat to the essential levels, you still need some fats for your hormones and stuff, and you've already cut your fats low enough to where you don't want to cut them any lower, where, you start running into problems like you just don't have proper hormones, so maybe your hair isn't growing as well, you have skin issues, stuff like that, and, your carbs are to the point where they're getting really low, your glycogen's getting really depleted. You're not getting as good of pumps in the gym as workouts in the gym. So now you need to cut another macronutrient to obviously create a bigger calorie deficit. So what can you cut? Well, if you're eating 150 grams of protein, maybe you can cut 20 grams off. That's 80 calories, or 30 grams off. That's 120 calories. And you'll still be making, close to optimal gains, if not optimal gains. And bam, you're in that caloric deficit again. A good example for this for me is when I was initially losing weight. I was 240 or 230, and then I went down to what I am now, about 150. I was eating like 70, 80 grams of protein a day. I wasn't tracking, so obviously I wasn't purposely doing that, but I went back, tracked most of my days, most of my diet, just to get an idea kind of roughly what I was eating. And yeah, like 60, 70, 80 grams of protein, and I honestly don't think I lost a lot of muscle, and I was barely working out, and I didn't really lose a lot of muscle, so, yeah, like, you can have a pretty low protein intake, don't be too worried about it. Biggest thing I would say, don't go in a huge calorie deficit, and you still need protein. Make sure your protein is high quality, that's the other thing, guys. Like pea protein, soy proteins, those are kind of a lesser quality protein. Make sure you're eating like a higher quality protein. So just proteins that are very bioavailable. I have a list up here, I'll read them off. We got eggs, they're very bioavailable source of protein. Whey protein, obviously. Something like a vegan protein powder is still going to be probably pretty good, especially if it's like a complete protein, but probably not good as still like the whey one would be. But then chicken breasts really good, fish, Greek yogurt, lean beef, soy protein it's a plant-based protein, but it's maybe one of the better plant-based proteins. Turkey breast, really good, cottage cheese are just some of the examples of really bioavailable and really high-quality protein. Basically what it means is with the higher quality proteins, your body's going to use that more for muscle growth and stuff. Whereas some of the lower quality proteins, your body will do crappier versions of carbs with. So Carbs give you energy, they give you glycogen stores, stuff like that. With worse versions of amino acids, like just less bioavailable versions of protein, it'll more go to like energy and stuff like carbs would do. But obviously they won't be as effective as a true carb would be, like sugar or like a real carb like a potato or something. They're not going to be as effective as giving you those good pumps and stuff. So it's like you're kind of losing the high quality protein from giving you muscle, and you're also losing it as carbs. So you want to eat a lot of high quality proteins. Make sure your protein is high quality protein. And it's also probably going to fill you up more. Yeah, but I don't know. Keep that in mind. All right. The next thing is to eat protein spread out through the day. So we have carbs, carb storage known as like glycogen. There's glycogen storage in your liver. You can store glycogen in your liver up to a certain amount. I think you can store up to like 300 grams, which is about 1,200 calories, something like that. And so you can store carbs, and you can store fat, obviously, just as fat. Your body fat storage on your body is pretty much unlimited. That's right. You can eat as much fat as you want, gain as much fat as you want. Your body pretty much doesn't care. You know, your metabolism will obviously go up as you digest that food, and your NEAT goes up and tries to handle some of those calories. But you're just going to keep adding adipose tissue, and your body will just get as fat as it can. Carbs with the glycogen stores, it's a very large storage, but it is still limited. With protein, there's not really a storage for protein. That's why people say things like, oh, you can only eat 30 grams of protein at once for it not to be wasted. That's not entirely true, but it is kind of a certain amount. I wouldn't recommend eating more than like half of your daily protein intake in one meal. You can, there's nothing wrong with it. But if we're talking optimal gains here, optimal muscle, you're trying to be Sam Sulek, you're trying to be Mr. Olympia here, you're taking this seriously, we're talking 5 meals spread out through the day. Let's say you're eating 200 grams of protein, 40 grams in each meal, spread evenly through the day. That's what we're talking here in terms of optimal gains. Because every time you eat protein, especially the amount that you need, you're going to be spiking that protein synthesis, and that's what's going to help you build more muscle. If you just eat it all in one meal, you'll have a big spike of protein synthesis. Your body will be building muscle, but then all that protein will be metabolized, digested, and in a few hours from there, or maybe halfway through the day from there, your body will be like, okay, we're ready to build muscle, but there'll be no more amino acids sitting around ready for your body to go. Whereas if you eat right then, bam, the amino acids come in, you wait a few hours, you eat again, amino acids just keep flowing throughout the day. So protein spread evenly throughout the day is what I would recommend. All right, now time for the big myth, other than, you know, the 1 gram per pound of body weight thing. That's not really a myth, but because it's pretty close, but 0.7 to 0.9 is pretty much the most optimal you could be without wasting extra calories and protein. But the big myth is that protein causes kidney damage. This is actually not true. Lots of people still think this. Maybe not lots of people, but quite a few people still think this. If you eat a bunch of protein, you're going to ruin your kidneys. This is not really true. Of course, I'm not a doctor. Like Greg Doucette says, I'm not a doctor. So if your doctor, you know, you have kidney problems and your doctor's telling you to maybe avoid protein because you cannot digest it or whatever, maybe don't be eating copious amounts of protein. Don't be eating double your weight in protein. But if, you know, you still need protein at the end of the day. Just don't go crazy on it if you had kidney issues. But yeah, if you don't have kidney issues, you don't need to worry about it. Your kidney can digest it all fine. You'll be fine eating lots of protein. So don't worry about that. That's a myth. Another myth is that you need protein right after a workout. This isn't really true. Like I mentioned before with the protein timing, as long as you're getting your protein in fairly evenly spread out throughout the day. It doesn't have to be exact. It doesn't, if you're 200 pounds, it doesn't have to be exactly 40 grams, 5 meals. It can be a little bit, you know, uneven and spread out, but as long as it's, you know, half decent, you're going you're going to be gooch. 5 meals a day, or at least 4, you're going to be good. Alright, but that's pretty much the video, guys. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Drop a like, subscribe. I'm trying to post more videos, trying to help you guys out with real science, real videos. Help all you gym goers out trying to make more gains, baby. Peace out, guys.